This weak Prime Minister has lost control. He's lost control of immigration, lost control of our borders, and now we're facing massive threats to our economy. And now lost control of his caucus, who are saying that they've been intimidated into voting in favor of his tiny tax trick. He's lost control, but he's holding on to power. Right now, there are as many as 500,000 people here illegally. There are 700,000 students who came here with the implicit promise they'd be able to stay forever, and now they're being told they have to leave.
It's no secret anymore. Prime Minister Trudeau is losing his grip on power, and the cracks are showing everywhere. From immigration chaos to financial scandals, it seems he can't keep anything under control. And now, he's lost control of his own party. That's right, his caucus members are openly rebelling, claiming they've been pressured into supporting a flimsy tax gimmick that's too little, too late. Let's start with immigration. Did you know that as many as 500,000 people are living in Canada illegally? On top of that, there are 700,000 international students who were lured here with the promise of a brighter future, only to now be told they might have to pack their bags. And if that wasn't enough, Trudeau's government is hemorrhaging cash, $3.5 billion of it, to be exact, doled out to businesses that didn't even qualify for aid during the pandemic. It's a financial scandal of epic proportions, and it's coming out of your pocket. Remember the Canada Emergency Business Account, CEBA, program? It was supposed to save struggling businesses during the pandemic. Instead, it turned into a feeding frenzy for shell companies and fraudsters. Picture this. Businesses that didn't exist, or those with nothing more than a P.O. box, walked away with up to $60,000 each. No questions asked. And who's left footing the bill now that many of those businesses have defaulted on their loans? You guessed it, Canadian taxpayers. But wait, it gets juicier. As if handing billions to unqualified businesses wasn't enough, the government outsourced the program's management to Accenture, a global consulting firm that promptly shipped much of the work to Brazil. Yes, while Canadians were losing their jobs and businesses, Trudeau's government was busy creating employment opportunities in São Paulo. Talk about tone deaf. And don't even get us started on the economy. After nearly a decade of Trudeau's leadership, everything feels broken. Housing costs have doubled, food prices have skyrocketed, rising 37% faster in Canada than in the U.S., and more Canadians are relying on food banks than ever before. Over the last 5 years, Ontarians alone visited food banks a jaw-dropping 7 million times. Meanwhile, Trudeau rolls out a laughable holiday tax break that came so late it couldn't even help families before the holiday season. Does he really think Canadians are that gullible? The rebellion within his own party is the cherry on top. MPs are calling him out for being a weak leader who prioritizes optics over real solutions. They're tired of the scandals, tired of the mismanagement, and tired of having to defend policies they don't believe in. The numbers don't lie. 2/3 of Liberals who backed him in the last election reportedly don't want him to lead them into the next one. Trudeau's leadership failures aren't just embarrassing, they're catastrophic. He's doubled government spending, presided over record levels of household debt, and overseen a $500 billion investment exodus to the U.S. Canadians are being crushed under the weight of his carbon tax, while he continues to offer Band-Aid solutions like his latest $6 billion tax trick. And let's not forget his response to criticism. One of his ministers recently mocked Canadians' economic struggles by calling it a vibe session. A vibe session? Tell that to the millions of Canadians who can't afford their groceries, let alone keep up with rising rents and mortgages. The truth is painfully clear. Trudeau has lost control of his government, his party, and the trust of Canadians. The question isn't whether he'll step down, it's how much more damage he'll do before he's finally shown the door. With an election on the horizon, Canadians have a choice to make. Will they continue to tolerate this chaos, or will they demand a new direction? One thing's for sure, the Trudeau era is unraveling, and it's happening faster than anyone could have predicted. As Trudeau's grip on power weakens, whispers are growing louder, both inside and outside his party. Even his once loyal supporters are questioning whether he has what it takes to lead the country out of this mess. The Prime Minister who promised sunny ways has delivered anything but, and Canadians are paying the price. The fractures in his caucus are only the tip of the iceberg. Behind closed doors, MPs are reportedly furious about being forced to back policies they neither believe in nor can defend to their constituents. Trudeau's top-down leadership style, where decisions are made to score political points rather than address real issues, has alienated even his closest allies. Leaks from party insiders paint a picture of a caucus in disarray, with many MPs actively plotting his exit. And why wouldn't they? The numbers are damning. Under Trudeau, Canada's GDP per capita has fallen, the worst performance among G7 nations since the pandemic. Meanwhile, his government has doubled the national debt, and Canadians are feeling the squeeze. Food prices are skyrocketing, housing is unaffordable, and the middle class, the very group Trudeau claims to champion, is shrinking. But perhaps the most telling sign of his unraveling is his reliance on empty gestures. Take the holiday tax break, a half-hearted attempt to distract from his government's failings. It's a move so transparent that even his own MPs are calling it out as a gimmick. Nate Erskine-Smith, a fellow Liberal, dismissed it outright, asking why the government didn't simply issue direct payments to struggling Canadians. It's criticism like this, from within his own ranks, that makes it clear Trudeau's days as leader are numbered. And then there's the public. Canadians are fed up. They see a Prime Minister more interested in photo ops than policy, more focused on international summits than the crises at home. The SNC-Lavalin affair, the We Charity scandal, the disastrous management of pandemic relief funds, it all adds up to a picture of a leader who's lost touch with reality. Even Trudeau's attempts to spin his way out of trouble are falling flat. His government's carbon tax, once touted as a bold step toward combating climate change, has become a symbol of misplaced priorities. Canadians aren't just paying more at the pump, they're paying more for everything, from groceries to heating their homes. And what do they get in return? A Prime Minister who insists they get with the vibe while the economy crumbles around them. As the chaos continues to unfold, one thing is clear: Trudeau's legacy is hanging by a thread. The man who once inspired hope now finds himself at the center of a government plagued by scandal, incompetence, and discontent. His MPs are in open revolt, his policies are failing, and his popularity is in free fall. With an election looming, Trudeau faces an uphill battle to hold on to power. But the question remains: will Canadians give him another chance, or will they turn the page on his leadership? For a Prime Minister who promised so much, the reality has been a bitter disappointment. And for Canada, the stakes couldn't be higher. The country needs strong, decisive leadership, something Trudeau has proven time and again he cannot deliver.